Okay, so picture this. You're on like a sunny Greek island, sipping some strong coffee with a 102-year-old shepherd
Oh, wow.
who's still got it, still sprightly enough to outwalk most folks half his age. Sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah,
It's not a fantasy, it's reality.
it is.
In these places called blue zones, where people just routinely hit the century mark,
Hmm.
and they're not just surviving, they're thriving. So what's the secret? It's not some like magic potion, it's their everyday habits.
Exactly. And the really fascinating thing is that while genetics do play a role, it's surprisingly small.
Oh, really?
Only about 20%. The other 80% of what determines how long and how well we live, it comes down to our lifestyle, the things we do every day.
So you're telling me the key to hitting 100 isn't locked away in some lab?
Nope,
It might be as simple as like taking a walk after dinner or catching up with some friends.
that's the thing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So empowering. Let's dive into some of these blue zone habits, starting with what's on their plate. They say you are what you eat, and it seems like centenarians take that to heart. They're fueling their bodies with like 80 to 90% plant-based foods.
Lots of colorful veggies, beans, nuts, and wholesome grains. This way of eating naturally keeps calorie intake lower, but it's packed with nutrients, almost like little shields protecting your cells from damage, helping to prevent those chronic diseases.
So ditching the processed stuff and loading up on those colorful fiber-rich plants, that's giving your body the VIP treatment from the inside out.
It really is.
And there's this interesting concept called hara-hachibu,
Yes.
practiced in Okinawa, where people stop eating when they feel about 80% full.
Yeah.
Is this just portion control, or is there more to it?
It's really about tuning into your body's cues,
Okay,
recognizing that satisfied feeling before you're completely stuffed. This not only prevents overeating and weight gain, but it gives your digestive system a break too.
right.
Lets it work more efficiently. And interestingly, it's been linked to lower levels of ghrelin, the hunger hormone, and higher levels of leptin, the I'm full hormone, which helps regulate appetite and metabolism over time.
So it's not just about willpower, it's retraining our bodies to feel full and satisfied on less, which is kind of genius.
I think so.
We've all heard that staying active is good for us, but Blue Zone residents aren't necessarily hitting the gym every day.
Nope.
It's more about movement woven into their daily lives, right?
Yeah, think about that Greek shepherd we talked about earlier, walking up and down those hills, tending his flock, constantly active without even thinking about it. This natural movement, gardening, walking to the market, dancing in the evening, it keeps them strong and flexible and energized. And it's not just physical benefits, it's about maintaining cognitive function, staying sharp mentally.
So ditch the all or nothing mentality when it comes to exercise and just find ways to move our bodies throughout the day. Could be the key to staying younger for longer. I know I'm inspired to take the stairs more often.
Me too.
And speaking of things that often get pushed aside in our busy lives, let's talk sleep.
Ah, sleep. It's like hitting the refresh button for your whole body. People in blue zones really understand this.
They do.
They prioritize a good 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. And they're not just clocking in the hours, they follow natural sleep-wake cycles, syncing up with the sun, letting their body fully repair and restore.
So are you saying ditching those late night Netflix binges and getting to bed earlier could add years to our lives?
It certainly could.
Okay. Might be a tough sell for the night owls out there.
I know.
But seriously, what happens when we consistently shortchange ourselves on sleep?
Well, imagine your body is like a finely tuned machine.
Okay.
When you deprive it of sleep, it's like running that machine nonstop, no maintenance.
Uh-oh.
Parts start to wear out, efficiency drops, and eventually the whole system starts to malfunction. Chronically skimping on sleep increases your risk of everything from heart disease and diabetes to a weaker immune system and even cognitive decline.
That's a pretty compelling reason to prioritize a good night's rest. But even with the best sleep habits, life throws curveballs. We all face stress. It's how we deal with that stress that seems to make a big difference.
You're absolutely right. Chronic stress is like this low-grade fire slowly burning inside. It contributes to inflammation and increases the risk of all sorts of diseases. But people in blue zones, they've mastered the art at stress management. They incorporate rituals into their day, like meditations, deep breathing exercises, or even just taking a few moments to connect with nature.
So instead of letting stress just simmer and build, they've found ways to release it, like hitting the pause button on a pressure cooker.
Exactly.
Makes a lot of sense. But it's easier said than done in our fast-paced world. What are some simple strategies we can all use to incorporate stress-relieving practices into our lives?
Even just 5 minutes of focused breathing can make a difference. Imagine holding a balloon and slowly inflating it with each inhale and gently deflating it with each exhale.
Mm-hmm.
This simple technique can help calm your nervous system and bring a sense of peace. And, it's interesting. In many blue zones, there's this tradition of enjoying a glass of red wine with meals.
Hold on, wine. Really? I thought we were all about healthy habits here. How does that fit into the longevity equation?
Well, it's all about moderation, of course.
Okay.
But red wine, especially when you enjoy every food and good company, does seem to have some benefits. It contains antioxidants like resveratrol, and these have been linked to improved heart health and a lower inflammation.
Okay, so a glass of red wine with dinner, surrounded by loved ones. Now that's starting to sound like a recipe for a long and happy life.
Right.
And speaking of loved ones, social connections seem to be a cornerstone of blue zone cultures.
Yeah, it's not just about having a good time. It's about deep, meaningful connections that provide emotional support, reduce stress, and foster a sense of belonging. Loneliness, on the other hand, can be just as harmful to your health as smoking.
Wow, that's a powerful statement. So those weekly coffee dates with friends or volunteering in your community, they're not just feel-good activities, they're vital for longevity.
They are.
Now, I've heard about this Japanese concept called ikigai, and it seems to be closely linked to the blue zone's way of life.
Ikigai is all about having a reason to jump out of bed in the morning, a purpose that fuels your days and gives your life meaning. It's the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for.
So it's not just about finding a job you don't hate, it's about uncovering that deeper sense of purpose that makes you feel truly alive and connected to something bigger than yourself. That's pretty inspiring, but also a bit daunting. How do we even begin to figure out our own ikigai?
It's a journey of self-discovery, and it might involve some introspection and experimentation. Start by asking yourself, what truly excites you? What activities make you lose track of time? What impact do you want to make on the world?
I love that. It's like a treasure hunt for your soul.
It is.
And this next habit might sound surprising. It seems that many centenarians unknowingly practice a form of fasting.
That's right. It's called unintentional fasting. And it happens simply because they tend to eat their last meal early in the evening and they don't snack before bed. This creates a natural fasting window of 12 hours or more overnight. It gives their bodies a chance to rest and repair.
So giving our digestive systems a break, allowing our bodies to focus on other processes during sleep, could be a secret weapon for longevity.
It could be.
It's fascinating how these simple habits can have such a profound impact on our health. Now, last but not least, let's talk about the power of gratitude and faith.
Yes. People in blue zones, they often express gratitude for the simple things in life.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a strong sense of faith or spirituality. This positive outlook fosters a sense of peace and contentment and resilience, which can contribute to both mental and physical well-being.
So taking a moment each day to appreciate the good things in our lives, whether it's a beautiful sunset, a kind gesture, or simply the ability to breathe, could actually be a key ingredient for a longer, happier life. Now, we've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
and it's clear that the blue zones offer a wealth of wisdom on how to live a long and fulfilling life.
They do. These habits, woven together, create a tapestry of well-being that extends far beyond just adding years to our lives. It's about living each day with intention, purpose, and joy.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve deeper into the fascinating science behind these habits and explore practical tips for weaving them into our own modern lives. Welcome back to our deep dive into the secrets of the blue zones.
Yes.
We've been exploring these incredible habits that help people live longer and healthier lives, and now I'm ready to really get into the nitty-gritty, the science behind why these habits work.
It's amazing, isn't it? Peeling back the layers, seeing how these simple actions can have such profound effects on our bodies.
Absolutely. We talked about plant-based diets, how they eat 80 to 90% of their calories from plants.
Yeah.
But how does that actually translate into health benefits?
Well, big one is antioxidants. Plant-based foods, they're just bursting with these powerful compounds that act like little guardians in your body.
Okay.
They neutralize harmful free radicals, those unstable molecules that can damage cells and contribute to aging and things like cancer and heart disease.
So it's like having an internal army fighting off those little invaders.
Exactly.
But it's not just about fending off the bad stuff, right? There's also the incredible power of fiber.
Ah, yes. Fiber, a true nutritional superhero, especially for your gut health.
Okay.
It acts like a prebiotic, feeding the good bacteria in your gut, helping to create a thriving microbiome.
I hear so much about the gut microbiome these days. It's still a bit of a mystery.
It is a fascinating world.
Yeah. What's the big deal with having a healthy gut?
Well, think of your gut like a second brain, constantly communicating with your body, influencing everything from digestion to immunity, mood, even cognitive function.
Wow.
A healthy microbiome, thanks in part to fiber, helps regulate your immune system, reduces inflammation, and improves nutrient absorption. Basically, you get the most out of the food you eat.
That's incredible. So eating more plants protects us from disease and helps our bodies work at their best.
It does.
I'm curious about hara-hachi-bu, that Okinawan practice of eating until 80% full. Sounds great, but how does it actually work in the body?
Well, it's amazing how this ancient practice has a direct impact on our hormones. When you eat until you're stuffed, your body releases a bunch of insulin to deal with all those calories. This can lead to insulin resistance over time, and that increases the risk of type 2 diabetes.
Right.
But by stopping at 80%, you give your body a chance to regulate blood sugar more effectively.
So it's teaching the body to be more efficient at processing fuel, preventing those energy spikes and crashes.
Precisely.
And it ties into what you were saying earlier about hormones regulating appetite.
Absolutely. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone, and leptin, the satiety hormone.
Right.
Hara-hachi-bu helps create a better balance between the two. By eating slowly, mindfully, you give your body time to register that it's getting full. So leptin can signal to your brain, hey, we've had enough. This can help prevent those cravings and overeating habits that can lead to weight gain and all those other health problems.
So it's working with our bodies, our natural cues, to create a healthier relationship with food.
Exactly.
Makes a lot of sense. Now, movement.
Yes.
I love that the Blue Zone's approach isn't grueling workouts. It's about integrating movement into daily life.
Absolutely. Remember our Greek shepherd friend?
Yeah.
Getting his steps in naturally, tending his flock. This constant low-intensity movement keeps his heart strong, his muscles strong, and his mind sharp.
Right.
And studies have shown that even moderate physical activity can significantly reduce the risk of chronic diseases.
But what's actually happening in our bodies when we move? Is it just burning calories?
It's so much more than that. It improves cardiovascular health, strengthens the heart offal, increases blood flow, delivers oxygen and nutrients to all your cells, helps regulate blood sugar, strengthens bones, improves balance, and it boosts mood, releasing those endorphins.
So it's like a ripple effect, one positive change leading to another.
It really is.
Okay, let's talk about sleep. They really prioritize a good night's rest.
Sleep, the ultimate rejuvenator. It's during sleep that your body gets to work, repairing, restoring itself. And in the Blue Zones, they truly embrace sleep. They follow natural sleep-wake cycles in sync with the sun.
I think that's a struggle for a lot of people these days with artificial light and screens.
It is a challenge.
What happens when we don't get enough sleep?
Well, think about it. When you're sleep deprived, your body's basically running on fumes. Like trying to drive a car with a sputtering engine, you can't expect it to perform well. Sleep deprivation throws everything off. Hormones, immune system, cognitive function, and it increases the risk of all those chronic diseases.
So it's not just feeling tired, it's seriously impacting our health and how long we live.
It is.
Okay, what about stress? Even with enough sleep, stress is just a part of life. What's their secret for managing it?
Well, they've got all these amazing stress-busting techniques passed down for generations.
Okay.
Some practice deep breathing, others find peace in prayer or meditation, and many connect with nature, grounding themselves in the present moment.
So it's about actively interrupting that stress response and giving our minds and bodies a chance to reset.
Right.
But what's happening physiologically when we do things like meditation or deep breathing?
Well, imagine your body's like a tightly wound spring. Stress hormones, like cortisol, keep that spring coiled up, ready for action. But over time, this chronic tension can wreak havoc, increase inflammation, a weaker immune system, digestive problems, mood disorders. But practices like meditation and deep breathing, spending time in nature, they help release that tension. Let the spring unwind. Bring a sense of calm back to your body.
It's amazing how simple things like that can have such an impact. Okay, I have to ask about that glass of red wine with meals. How does that fit into a healthy lifestyle?
It's all about moderation, of course, and you should always talk to your doctor before making big changes to your diet.
Of course.
But red wine, especially with food and good company, has been linked to some interesting health benefits.
Okay, I'm listening.
It contains this compound called resveratrol, powerful antioxidant, anti-inflammatory properties. Some studies suggest that moderate red wine consumption might improve heart health and reduce the risk of some chronic diseases.
So it's not just indulgence, it's about those moments of connection with loved ones. We talked about the importance of social connections, but what makes those connections so vital for a long life?
Well, think about it. We humans, we're wired for connection. We thrive in communities where we feel supported and loved.
Right.
These bonds, they act as a buffer against stress, against loneliness, even illness.
So it's not just about friends on social media, it's about real, meaningful relationships.
Absolutely. Studies show that people with strong social connections, they tend to live longer, healthier lives. lower rates of depression, anxiety, heart disease.
It's like a built-in support system, helps us through the ups and downs of life.
Yes,
Now, Ikigai, that seems to be central to the Blue Zones.
ikigai. A beautiful concept, isn't it?
It is.
Speaks to our human desire for purpose. It's that intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for.
Yeah.
Finding your ikigai, it's about finding that sweet spot where your passions and talents align with a greater purpose. That creates fulfillment, motivation.
It sounds like the ultimate recipe for a good life, but how do we even start to find our Ikigai? It seems a bit elusive.
Well, it's a journey. It's different for everyone.
Right.
Start by thinking about what truly lights you up, what you love doing, what makes you lose track of time, what kind of impact you want to have on the world.
Okay.
It might take some experimentation, trying new things, following your curiosity.
I love that. So it's like a treasure hunt for your soul.
It is.
Unintentional fasting. How does that simple act of extending the overnight fasting window actually help our bodies?
When we're constantly eating throughout the day, our bodies are always digesting.
Right.
This puts a strain on our metabolism and other systems. But when you have a longer fasting period, you give your body a chance to rest and repair.
So giving the digestive system a break, letting our bodies focus on other things while we sleep.
Exactly. And research has shown that this type of fasting can have a bunch of health benefits, like improving insulin sensitivity, reducing inflammation, even helping with cellular repair.
It's amazing how a simple change like that can have such a big impact. Now, gratitude and faith.
People in the blue zones, they're so good at finding joy in the simple things.
Yeah.
They're grateful for their blessings, and many have a strong sense of faith or spirituality. It gives them a sense of purpose and connection.
And science is backing up what they've known all along.
It is. Studies have shown that gratitude can do so much for you. Boost happiness, reduces stress, improves sleep, even strengthens the immune system.
Wow.
And having faith or spirituality can provide meaning, purpose, social support. All of those things contribute to a sense of well-being and a longer life.
So it's not just living longer, it's living better.
That's it.
With a real appreciation for life. It's inspiring to see how these Blue Zone principles can change our lives, adding years and making them richer, full of joy, purpose, and vitality. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been on this amazing journey,
We have.
exploring the Blue Zones, those habits, the science behind how they live so long. But now it's time to bring it home, see how we can use all this in our own lives.
Like we've got this incredible travel guide, and now we get to create our own personal map.
Exactly. And for me, one of the biggest takeaways has been community, that feeling of belonging.
It really is at the heart of it all, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not just about like having tons of friends. It's about those deep connections that really support you, those Sardinian families, the neighbors helping each other out in Okinawa. That's what we need.
It really makes a difference.
It makes you realize we're not meant to do this whole life thing alone.
We're not.
But how do we build that sense of community, especially in our busy world where everyone's so focused on themselves?
It can start small. Join a book club, maybe. Volunteer at a garden. Go to church. Just get to know your neighbors, right? It's about making that effort, putting yourself out there.
So it doesn't have to be this huge thing. It's just those little steps.
Exactly.
Another thing that really struck me was their connection to nature.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just pretty scenery. It's part of their everyday life.
There's just something about being in nature that makes you feel grounded.
Right.
Remember those shepherds, the elders tending their gardens? They're out there moving their bodies, surrounded by all that beauty. It reduces stress, improves your mood, and just makes you feel better overall.
It's like nature has this healing power.
It does.
But a lot of us live in cities. It's not so easy to just be in nature all the time. How do we make it happen?
Well, a walk in the park, having your coffee on the balcony, even some houseplants can make a difference. Even small doses of nature can do wonders for your mind and body.
I like that. Little moments of connection.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't talk about the Blue Zones without talking about food.
Oh, definitely not.
And it's not just about what they eat, it's how they approach food, right?
Absolutely. Mindful eating. Taking the time to savor each bite, really appreciating the food. And for them, mealtimes are social events. Sharing with family and friends, strengthening those bonds, building community.
It's the opposite of how a lot of us eat, rushed, distracted. How do we bring that mindfulness to our meals?
Well, start by making time for meals. No phones, no distractions. Use your senses. Really notice the colors, the smells, the textures of your food. Chew slowly. Enjoy every bite. Pay attention to how your body feels. And when you can, eat with loved ones. Make it a shared experience.
It's like turning mealtime into something special, something to be savored.
Exactly.
Ikigai, that sense of purpose. It's a great concept, but a little overwhelming.
I know what you mean.
How do we even start to find our own Ikigai?
It's a journey, It's unique to each of us. Think about what brings you joy. What do you love doing? What makes you lose track of time? What kind of impact do you want to have? It might take some experimenting, trying new things, just following your curiosity.
I love that. A treasure hunt for your soul. Before we wrap up, I want to make sure people understand this isn't about copying the blue zones exactly. It's about taking what we've learned and making it work for us.
That's it. It's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. Pick one or two things, start small, see how it feels.
Right. Little steps can make a big
They
difference.
really can.
Well, we've learned so much, haven't we? From what they eat to how they move to how important connection is to finding your purpose.
We have. It's a good reminder that living a long, healthy life, it's not about luck. It's about the choices we make, taking care of our bodies, our minds, and our spirits.
We hope you've enjoyed our deep dive into the blue zones, that you feel inspired to create your own path to a life filled with vitality, purpose, and joy.
Remember, you have the power to live a longer, healthier, happier life. Start small, be consistent, and enjoy